Hello, everybody. It is great to be here today, and I am the host of the Founders Report with Gary Fowler, and I am Gary Fowler. It's great to be here. I'm a 17-time serial entrepreneur. I've been involved in 17 startups, as I said, and 2 unicorns. I was on the original management team at Click Software, which was sold to Salesforce for $1.35 billion, and also Eva.ai, an AI HR tech company that I founded with Dr. David Yang. We believe that intellectual capacity is evenly spread, but opportunities are not. That's why we're here to make a difference. We're here to make a dent in the universe. I'm the CEO, president of GSD Get You Done Venture Studios, a premier AI and quantum venture studio located in the heart of Silicon Valley, Palo Alto, California. And with that, I have an incredible guest today, and I told her right before we got started, I've never seen a CV of 22 pages. But I mean, she's got more PhD work, MBA work, and entrepreneurship and investing than I must say anybody I've ever seen in my life. So I have Dr. Irini Kialubi. Am I pronouncing it right, Irini, your last name?
Kialubi.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Kialubi.
So, and we're blessed to have her here today. Where are you in Germany today? Or where are you today, actually?
I'm in Germany.
Are you still in Munich and that area? Where are you today?
No, right now I'm in Gütersloh. I don't know if you know it.
Gütersloh?
Gütersloh. It's called Gütersloh. Do you know the company Bertelsmann? Maybe?
Yes.
Yes, they're located in Gütersloh.
Gütersloh. Wow. And what part of Germany is that?
It's pretty much in the northwest.
The northwest. All right. So how did you decide? So, I mean, you, like I said, you've got an incredible background. I'm looking down through and, from the PhD, you started in, Nuremberg in your PhD. You went to Warwick. I assume that's in the UK. You went to the UK, Warwick, correct? Mm-hmm. For supply chain management, logistics. And then your PhD in doctor in economics and social sciences. Why did you go for social sciences? Did you just one day say, oh, I want to do, I'm interested in social sciences? How did that happen?
Well, in fact, it's more related to economics. It's the degree that it's called like this, For example, you also call it a PhD, Doctor of Philosophy, but in fact, you're not studying philosophy because many people ask me like, did you study philosophy? I say, no, not at all, but it's called PhD. And the same applies for the doctor title in Germany. So it's called Doctor in Social Science and Economics, but in fact, I did it in business and administration and a bit of engineering as well.
A bit of engineering. Okay, I see production economics and industrial. Then you went to the Chartered Management Institute and you got a diploma in strategic management and leadership from University of London, correct?
Exactly.
Okay, now you're doing your MBA. Do you just like school or what? You're doing an MBA now? Are you one of those persons? I remember my son was like that, and my daughter too. They just love school. Were you like that and get up and say, I want to be educated for everything, about everything?
Yes, absolutely. I was like this since I was a child. And I was one of those who were sad when we had holidays and I couldn't go to school. Crazy, right?
That's okay. So you were sad that you would have to have a holiday because you wanted to go to school. And are you into the grades or the knowledge? What's the most important? Do you like to compete with other students or do you like to learn?
No, I love to learn and I will never stop learning because I'm a person who believes that you should never stop learning and it's a lifelong journey and it's fun, definitely. And I read a lot as well, even in time.
Irini, what do you read about? Like when you're reading, what do you read about? Are you into space? Are you into fiction? Are you into nonfiction? What do you like to read about?
Well, I love to read a lot about history, in fact, like why our society is nowadays the way it is, lots of about politics, to understand how our economics functions, how our government rules our world. So this is what really, really interests me.
And what do you think? What are the conclusions you come up with? You've been reading a lot. Where are we today? And what do we need to do?
Okay, that's a very tough question. But in fact, I believe that all the conflicts that we have nowadays in society is prone to bad communication. You know, it's on a personal level, it can be also on a business level. Everything that happens nowadays, every conflict, every war, every misconception is based on bad communication.
Well, here's the thing. Now we have the internet. How can we communicating so badly, right? I agree with you. I lived in Russia 14 years myself, so I spent a lot of time in Moscow, studied in Moscow State, and it's like there's a lot of nice people around the world, and I don't get why we're fighting when we have so many
Exactly.
important problems to solve, right? Climate change, population going from 8.1 billion to 13. We need to double the food supply by 2050 to feed everybody. There's a lot of problems that we need to solve, and we can do it together, right? It's amazing to me, actually.
Absolutely, I totally agree. I don't understand, because we, at the end of the day, we are all human beings. We need to stick together. We have the same objective, to live a happy life, and that's the most important thing. So why do we always need to compete against one another?
We need to solve that problem, because if not, nothing good's going to happen in the future. And I don't mean just about wars. I mean, I'm writing a paper right now that if we don't change the way we are, nothing will be extinct in 250 to 300 years. And people say, "Oh, it's crazy," but I'm telling you, for real. I mean, you can't destroy a planet. It's like being a fish in an aquarium. You can't take the oxygen out of the water and not put any food in there and affect the fish to live. I mean, we need to, and something, at the same time, Marini, I am really, really, on my own standpoint, I am optimistic about the future, because I believe we can do it. We just need to look at the similarities and not differences between people. It's where we can relate, and not the situations where we're different. Mother Teresa said it's not about stopping war, it's about pro peace. Let's figure out how we can work together. And in the startup community, you work with startups all over the world. So how do you do that? So where do you focus, and where do you believe we can make the most impact?
Yes, I believe that we can make the most impact in building a sustainable startup ecosystem. And that's where I also see the difference between where you are located and where I am located, right? I work with startup in many different settings, with lots of cooperation partners, accelerators, universities. I'm also a university lecturer for entrepreneurship and digital marketing in the German-speaking area. And what we lack is a strong and sustainable startup ecosystem. And you are way, way forward, right? But I still feel that Germany can do it. Also, Switzerland and Austria, if you are talking about the GSA region. And they can take you as a role model, definitely.
Well,
Because
the thing is, I lived in Germany for a while, so I did some work in Munich and Paderborn and Waldorf and Berlin. And my father's family's German, right? So very conservative, Pennsylvania Dutch kind of mentality, very, very conservative. But at the same time, when I talk to my German friends, and we have a number of German, Swiss, and Austrian companies, sometimes they think in a box. And I tell them, I guess, you got to think out of the box, right? It's not about the box. It's about how can you address the world, and how can you need to take some risks. By the way, it's not just your German, Swiss, and Austrians. Today I had a conversation with some French, and the same kind of thing. They're a little bit more progressive, but that's what Silicon Valley is all about: is think differently, take a risk, try.
Absolutely. And I have to say, because I heard you well, you said that you used to be in Paderborn. In fact, Gütersloh is not so far away from Paderborn. It's like 60 kilometers away from me.
Wow, that's amazing.
This area.
Yeah, no, I loved it, actually. In fact, when I was in Munich, actually, I've never had so much food in my life. I like pasta, but I mean, I had never had the best pasta in the world. I'll never forget, I was in a Hofbräu and they brought this out, and I was with some Wiener Schnitzel. It was really, really good. Really good.
I like the expression that you used when you said like we are thinking in a small little tiny box. That's the issue, right? Because when a startup launches, for example, in Silicon Valley, they want to conquer the whole world. But in the German speaking area, they always first start in Germany, and then after 3 or maybe 5 years, we'll go to France or we'll go to the Scandinavian area. You know, Americans tend to think America and the rest of the world. And
Well,
here,
Irene, but we're from, my grandmother's Egyptian, Greek Egyptian. My grandfather's Greek on my mother's side. On the other
Mhm.
side, I'm German, right? We're from
Oh,
different countries. You know what I mean? It's like I
mhm,
lived in Russia, for long. I lived in the UK. It's like, but there's one thing that's magical about this Silicon Valley mentality is that you can do anything you want. We believe in dreams, that you can
mhm,
do it. And and also I see those German companies that are progressive. I spoke to, and he might be listening today, one of the I won't name the name, but one of the wealthiest families in Germany. Actually, I guess
mhm,
he's in Austria now, but and he said, I want to bring my company over, their new company, over to Silicon Valley. He said, why? Because there's a lot of exciting things happening there, and there's a way that I can attract other investors and gain some buy-in. And I said, that's what it's about, right? But that's about all over the world. Look at places like, as you know, in Africa, Nigeria, there's a vibrant ecosystem there, right? With some of the
mhm,
brightest people on the planet Earth, but it's untapped for the most part. Most people don't think about Flutterwave or Patricia or some of those companies, but you got what, 38 countries, and you've got over a
mhm.
billion people that are, and one of the youngest population in the world under 30. There's going to be change. We need to bind together to help each other to solve the challenges. Whether it's minerals, whether it's fintech, which they're incredible at. I
Mhm.
mean, Nigeria's got what, 206 million people, and some of the literally best business people in the world.
Mhm. Yeah, totally agree. You know, for us, failure is not an option. If you fail once, people will not trust you anymore. You know, in the US, you can fail 2, 3 times. People will still motivate you, encourage you to move further, right? So in Germany, there are so many restrictions also in terms of regulations and getting funded because many investors are very risk averse and they don't have this big vision of scaling so fast, you know?
Well, how do you? So, you seem to be very progressive. How do you deal with that kind of a mentality when you're in Germany? How do you talk to them when you're talking about investment? They're talking about, well, let's do something first in Germany, and 3 to 5 years from now, let's do. What do you do?
It depends, but most of the time, if I truly believe in the business model and I think they can do even more, I like to tend to say, like, think big, it can get small by itself, you know? Because I truly believe if you think that you are changing the world for better, go for it. Take the risk because there's no security in life. You know, the most successful people in the world, they took risks.
Well, that's if you don't take, my friend that's a billionaire told me one time. I remember this. I mean, he gave me two dice, right? And he put
Mhm,
them in my hand, and he said, Gary, close your hand. And I said, okay. And he said, now take those dice, and I want you to think about something. He said, what's that? And he said, now, what's the chance of success if you never roll those dice? Literally.
mhm,
And he said,
mhm,
and I said, well, zero. He said, that's what life's all about in entrepreneurship.
mhm,
You never know till you try. And if you don't believe in your dream, you don't believe in yourself, and you don't believe in your networks and contacts, it's never going to happen. He said, when I built my company, $1 billion company, I didn't know it was going to be successful or not when I got started. But I had to
definitely.
go down through and create my own destiny, have it manifest. We create
Absolutely.
our destiny. And if you can't do it, it's not for everybody, Irene, right? It's like not everybody's made to go down through and take risks. It's not easy sometimes. There's a lot of
Mhm.
obstacles out there, and you got to be confident in yourself to go through them, or you shouldn't be doing it.
Absolutely. I always say I regret those things that I haven't tried out rather the things that I've done.
Now, what kind of things do you do that you like to just, because a lot of people like yourself that are risk takers like that like to try different things. What do you do? Are you into parachuting? Are you into flying? Or what do you do to like keep your edge?
I love little canyoning.
Yeah.
Can pretty much do it pretty well in the south of Germany,
Mm-hmm.
near Munich, in the Allgäu. I don't know if you know it,
No,
but
no,
it's
no. Tell
close
us a
to
little bit. I'm interested.
Austria.
What do
Yeah,
you
I
do?
love it. Oh, excuse
What do
me.
you do exactly? So what do you like to do that gets you excited?
Climbing
Yeah,
and
like how high?
paddling. Paddling. So I love that really much. Yes.
Well, that's great.
And
Now, when you're
diving.
climbing,
Diving. Yes.
do you think about going up or coming down? If you're going up, what do you think about you're going to fall, or do you think about going to the top?
In fact, I used to be afraid of height, but I overcame it through this point. Yes, I
That's
was.
great. That's a
Yeah.
great story. I love it.
And I truly believe, like Aristotle once said, only the one who overcame his fear will can totally be free.
Yeah, I agree. I had lunch with a guy named Scott McNeely. He was a founder of a company called Sun Microsystems in California. And he told me one thing one time. I'll never forget it. He said, this is a few years ago. He said, always go to areas you fear the most, you're going to learn the most. And he
Absolutely.
said, most people, as they get older, they try to like be more conservative. But what you got to do is you got to try. You got to reach out. You got to go to places.
And leave your comfort zone. That's the only way that you can grow. And that's the only opportunity for you to, yes, to make your dreams happen.
So, what can be done in Germany right now? What are you doing, Irene, to help those companies get out of the box? What do you do? What do you talk to them about?
Exactly. So it's funny that you're asking this question because most of the time when I start working with them, the first thing most of them say is always like, do you believe that we can scale? Do you believe that we can make it big? Because everyone in my environment doesn't really believe it. And they say, like, I should take small steps. And what do you think about it? And I'll never forget, there was one female founder who told me, like, I asked her, like, what is your objective? What do you want to achieve? And she said, like, I want to be known for my profession in Munich. And I said, like, why only Munich? He said, okay, maybe Germany. And I said, like, why only Germany? You know, they tend to think very, very small. I don't know, maybe it's they don't have the faith in themselves, or maybe it's part of our education, how we grew up. And I always say, like, at school we never learned to have this entrepreneurial mindset. You know, we were just raised to work as an employee at a company and do everything that our supervisors say, you know. And that's the kind of way we grew up, and it should definitely change. You know, we should be educated in a way that we can be creative, follow our dreams, do our passion, right?
Well, it's interesting because the first MBA was at Harvard University, and it was designed to teach managers how to manage, not how to be entrepreneurs, because risk is not something managers really want, right? They're trying to be risk averse to being sure they're consistent. And entrepreneurship is diametrically opposed to it, because if you don't take risk, you're not going to win. Where would it be with Facebook? Facebook. You remember Friendster, MySpace. He wouldn't have come into with Facebook if he didn't believe in his dreams. Google at the time, kind of out of Stanford. My friend was with him when they were working out of a trailer at Stanford. Look at it now; they changed the world. We each have those capabilities, but we need to really unleash our human potential, unleash those capabilities. All of us has the ability to be able to make a change if we truly want to do it. And the other thing is, we work a lot with female entrepreneurs, Irene. We work a lot with people that are not served properly because they don't have access, right? We're all over the world. We need to do that. We need to make this a kinder, gentler place, not in an entitlement way, but a way that we can each contribute to help each other, right?
Mhm.
Diversity in companies makes a whole big a whole lot of difference. So if you got people of different race, color, creeds, and beliefs, you can change the world because you understand it from different perspectives. As you say in Germany, what is it? I remember Gestalt, the sum of the parts equal the whole, Gestalt, right? In German, and that's what it's all about, tying all the pieces together. So it's incredible. What do you think? So what's the future of entrepreneurship in Germany? How are you going to make those changes?
Oh, I think there's still a lot to do, but we are definitely progressing, because, for example, if we consider like Berlin was the hub spot in Germany for entrepreneurship. However, they tend to focus more on B2C business models. And now they have realized that nearly everything has already been made, right? So now the ecosystem is also focusing more on Munich because here we have more B2B business models. And I believe that it's a great opportunity for the German ecosystem to really focus on B2B business models because they have proven it in the past with major corporate being located in Germany. And that's the area where I definitely see huge potentials, right? And we are more and more fostering company and startup corporations, right? So they're already established companies that are supporting startups. They are setting up entrepreneurship entities in their own companies. And then, of course, you also realize that there are more and more universities setting up entrepreneurship programs. Even chairs and institutions have been established so far. So I can see a lot of progress going on there because they now realize how important it is for the competitiveness of Germany to really work together with startups, foster innovation, and to be more, how do you say, forward thinking. Right?
Yeah, no, I agree, progressive. But I will say this: I went to the Pirate Summit in Cologne. I spoke at the Pirate Summit, the AI Summit in Cologne. There was a lot of really forward-thinking folks there. Really, it was really
When
good.
when have you been there?
Before the pandemic, right before the
Me
pandemic.
too. I was there 2019. Maybe we were both there at the same
Maybe,
time.
yeah, I
But
loved it.
I also really loved it. Yeah.
Cologne's one of my favorite. Actually, the chapel in Cologne. It's one of the most beautiful chapels, churches I've ever seen in my life. Just absolutely stunning place. Very nice people too.
That's close to where I grew up. I grew up in Bonn, and I love Cologne. I always thought that I'd be moving to Cologne, but in fact, I also love Munich. So,
Cologne was really, it's like, for me, anyhow, it's like, if you think about Germany, you think about a place like, it's like picture perfect, right? With a little lake they have and all the different things. It's like, when I would think about Germany, I think about there. Although Dusseldorf was nice too, I got to tell you. I was there for a while too. That's a nice city. Actually, they're all nice. Berlin's nice too. It's just a little different,
totally different. You can't compare them.
Way different sometimes. I've seen some way different things. Although then I went out to outside of Berlin to the Kapinski Sporting, and it was just amazing place. Waldorf, where SAP. I mean, some great companies have come out of Germany, and at the same time, there needs to be more openness, more willing to take risk. Right, risk is important. If you don't support people taking risks, nothing's going to happen. And you understand, listen, you're right. Sometimes you fail, but the situation, you don't go in thinking you're going to fail. You believe you're going to win.
Absolutely. And we need to get faster. We're too slow.
It's too slow, but because of people like yourself, Irene, it's getting better. And I see it, we work with a lot of German, Swiss, and Austrian companies, but I see it's not just there. Just so you know, other countries around the world are the same way. It's because they don't understand it and they're afraid to do something they don't understand. They don't know how to build a company. They don't know how to get the legal structure set up. They don't know how to find the right kind of staff to be able to help them out, whether they're building AI models or they're looking to do programming or whatever. They just don't have the resources. They've not done it. It's hard if you've never done it before. It's hard to figure it out.
And most of the time, they don't know where to go to. who can help them to set up a business, who can help them to get those skills you just mentioned. They need financial, legal support, so many stuff that we don't learn at school. So I'm always asking myself, what if we could just say like, okay, we can also start this entrepreneurial mindset even with little children who are already 6 or 7 years old, right? So that they learn, okay, in fact, is all very skill based, based on your talents. We should foster talent and not just teach children by the books,
Well, I mean, one of the things we do in the States is really reinforced. So growing up as a kid, we would have lemonade stands. We would sell lemonade, and it was kind of funny, but I'll never forget. We had contractors coming into my area. They were putting up wires, telephone wires and all this stuff, electric. And I went out there with a lemonade stand because that's what we did. And we would charge 10 cents for a glass of lemonade or 25 cents. And I sold everything I had. My mom got so mad at me for lemons and a big bag of them. And I made lemonade and I was going like crazy. But we have it reinforced, to do that, to be entrepreneurial. You sell books and you sell products in school to make running for your class. And it's fun and people compete with each other. And we learn it kind of informally that way. But, I got to tell you, I mean, there's a bright future for us all to work together. And with the technical talents, with the business talents of places like Germany, Austria, Switzerland, it's just incredible. But all over the world, we need to come together and to solve the challenges, to help each other, to help understand this and fix the infobesity that we all have. But I'm optimistic that we're moving in the right direction. And it's because of people like you, Irene, that's there on the ground, talking about it all the time, getting the right kind of audience. And, at GSD, it gets you done. I mean, that's what we're all about. It's not about the talk. It's about the execution. So each one of you out there, go out and get it done. Don't think about it. Don't sit on your hands. Move forward. Life's about moving forward and not moving backward. And tomorrow never comes. Today's the day.
Start today, not tomorrow.
Exactly. So we're coming up to the top of the hour, Irene. So closing thoughts and how do people get a hold of you?
Yes, thank you very much, first of all, for the invitation. And I believe that you are the one who's changing the world for the better because you are so open-minded. Although you're located at Silicon Valley and you're a serial entrepreneur, yeah, I know what kind of work you're doing also for European startups. And yes, I got connected with you through a pitch event in Germany. And I'm so happy that you're so supportive. And you're definitely a role model for everyone out there. And of course, you can reach me on LinkedIn. And if you need any advice on making yourself visible, building up a community, I'm the right woman for you.
She is great. And thank you so much. I'm humbled by your thoughts. Thank you for the warm compliments. We just want to make a dent in the universe, as Steve Jobs said, and we want to do it for real. So for companies out there, come, you're happy to get a hold of me. You can reach me on LinkedIn or Twitter. Happy to talk. Check out the videos that we have. Review this event today, the podcast today. And I'd like to thank the entire VC Task Force team for making this a VCTV team for making this happy today. Hasmek, thank you as always. You're amazing, amazing person, always on time, always pushing us in the right direction. And thanks for the entire team for making this possible. My name is Gary Fowler, and I am the host of the Founders Report with Gary Fowler. Stay tuned for another exciting edition. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Take care of yourselves, stay safe, stay happy, and most importantly, stay healthy. God bless you all.